Namaskar, good evening viewers. You're watching Sansad TV's live broadcast at 9 p.m. This is The News with me, Bhawna Nayarr. Over the next 30 minutes, we bring you a roundup of all national and international news that you need to know. Let's begin with the top headlines we are tracking this hour. Rise above partisan politics. President Ramnath Kovind advises political parties at farewell ceremony in Central Hall of Parliament. Thanks citizens for giving him opportunity to serve in nation's top constitutional post. Bengal Minister Partha Chatterjee arrested in school recruitment scam. A day after cash worth rupees 21 crore was seized from his aide's house. Election Commission seeks documentary evidence from both factions of Shiva to prove their majority. Gives them time till August 8th. RBI sets withdrawal limits for customers of 4 cooperative banks in Maharashtra, West Bengal and Uttar Pradesh. Says restrictions will remain in force for 6 months. And COVID cases increased. 21,411 fresh cases reported in the last 24 hours. Active case load crosses over 1,50,000 cases. Let's lunge on to more important news of the day. Media running kangaroo courts, says Chief Justice of India, blames ill-informed and agenda-driven debates. At the iconic week of Azadi Ki Rail Gadi or Station, Parliamentary Affairs Minister Prahlad Joshi asserts India will play a lead role in the world order. RBI imposes restrictions on withdrawals on 4 cooperative banks due to poor financial position. Bal Gangadhar Tilak and Chandrasekhar Azad epitomize courage and patriotism. Prime Minister Modi pays tributes on their birth anniversary. Prime Minister Modi greets people on occasion of Adi Kirti Gai, prays for blessings of Lord Muruga on all people. SpaceX sets record on second attempt, sends 46 Starlink satellites into Earth's orbit. Nigerian forces rescued 22 people kidnapped by a criminal gang on Friday. US jury finds Steve Bannon, Donald Trump's former strategist, guilty of contempt of Congress for role in January 6th insurrection. International Hockey Federation appoints Egypt's Saif Ahmed acting president. Indian administrator Narinder Batra's recently quit the post. And Neeraj Chopra can be the first since 2009 to win both Olympics and World Championships. Javelin throw finals on Sunday. And now the lead story of the day. President Ramnath Kovind was given a firm farewell in the Central Hall of Parliament. The Vice President, Prime Minister, Lok Sabha Speaker, Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha MPs were present at the ceremony. In his farewell speech, President Ramnath Kovind thanked the people for giving him the opportunity to serve in the highest constitutional post. He advised the parties to rise above party politics.
राजनीतिक दलों के अपने तंत्रों के माध्यम से संचालित होती है, लेकिन पार्टियों को दलगत राजनीति से ऊपर उठना चाहिए और राष्ट्र सर्वोपरि की भावना से यह विचार करना चाहिए कि देशवासियों के विकास और कल्याण के लिए कौन-कौन से कार्य आवश्यक हैं.
The President said MPs should always follow the Gandhian philosophy while exercising their right to debate and dissent in Parliament. He also urged people to use peaceful means to put forward their demands.
हमारे नागरिकों को अपनी मांगों के लिए दबाव बनाने का तथा विरोध करने का संवैधानिक अधिकार उपलब्ध है, लेकिन मेरे विचार से इस अधिकार का प्रयोग हमेशा गांधीवादी तौर तरीकों के अनुरूप शांतिपूर्ण ढंग से ही किया जाना चाहिए.
Earlier, Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla read out the farewell message on behalf of the MPs. He thanked President Ramnath Kovind for taking the highest office to new heights during his 5-year tenure as president.
आपके अभिभाषण, आपकी दूरदर्शिता देश के समक्ष उपस्थित राजनीतिक एवं सामाजिक विषयों की गहरी समझ एवं उनके समाधान हेतु आपकी स्पष्ट सोच को प्रदर्शित करते हैं। आपके अभिभाषण ने सभी दलों के लोगों को समान रूप से प्रेरित किया है और उनके दायित्वों के प्रति भी जागृत किया है।
Earlier, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu hosted lunch for President Ram Nath Kovind and his family members at the Vice President's residence. The Vice President wished President Kovind a happy and healthy life. Recalling the happy moments of the last 5 years, he said it has been a wonderful experience for him to work with President Ram Nath Kovind for the development of the nation. He said the President greatly enhanced the stature of the institution through his broad vision and simplicity. Moving on, the Reserve Bank has banned withdrawal of funds from 4 cooperative banks in view of their poor financial condition. The 4 banks include the Sai Baba Janata Sehakari Bank in Maharashtra, the Suri Friends Union Cooperative Bank Limited in Suri, West Bengal, United India Cooperative Bank Limited in Bijnor in Uttar Pradesh, and National Urban Cooperative Bank Limited in Bahraich. Depositors will be able to withdraw only 20,000 rupees from Sai Baba Janata Sehakari Bank, 50,000 rupees from Suri Friends Union Cooperative Bank, and 10,000 rupees from National Urban Cooperative Bank. RBI has imposed several restrictions on withdrawals from the Bijnor-based United India Cooperative Bank Limited. These restrictions will remain in force for 6 months. RBI clarified that instructions should not be construed as cancellation of banking license. Moving on, the Enforcement Directorate arrested West Bengal Education Minister Partha Chatterjee in connection with a teacher recruitment scam after 27 hours of questioning. Chatterjee was sent to ED custody for 2 days. Earlier, he was taken to the ESI hospital in Joka for a medical examination. Chatterjee's arrest comes a day after the seizure of cash and gold worth over 22 crore rupees from the house of his close aide, Arpita Mukherjee. The cash was found in sealed envelopes of the School Service Commission. Documents relating to real estate have also seized during the raid. Partha Chatterjee's personal assistant, Sukant Acharya, has also been taken into custody. The Enforcement Directorate has also asked Congress President Sonia Gandhi to present herself before the agency on 26th of this month in the National Herald case. The ED questioned Sonia for nearly 2 hours in an alleged money laundering case related to the National Herald newspaper. The case pertains to alleged financial irregularities in Young Indian Private Limited. Former Congress President Rahul Gandhi was questioned in the case for 5 days earlier. Moving on to our next story, the Election Commission has asked Uddhav Thackeray and Eknath Shinde to submit documents to prove majority support in Shiv Sena. Both sides have to submit letters of support from the legislative and organizational wings of the party and the written statements of the rival factions by 8th of August. This is in order to support their claims on the election symbol of the political outfit.
क्या है शिवसेना, ये हम बाला साहब की शिवसेना है और लोकसभा में भी 2/3 से ज़्यादा लोग वहाँ पे सांसद जो है वो भी साथ में है और लोकसभा स्पीकर ने वैसा निर्णय भी लिया है। यहाँ के स्पीकर जो है उन्होंने भी हमें रिकॉग्नाइज किया है। इसका मतलब साफ है कि हम लोग शिवसेना है, बाला साहब के विचार वाली शिवसेना।
जो हमसे टूट गए, मैं उनको, मेरा आह्वान है कि आप जहाँ है वहाँ आनंद से रहिए, अपनी पार्टी बनाइए, आपका गुट बनाइए, लेकिन आप शिवसेना को चैलेंज कर असली शिवसेना नकली शिवसेना की बात करते हो, हमसे एविडेंस मांगते हो। ये बाला साहब ठाकरे जी की शिवसेना है।
And news about the rising COVID cases in the country. Total COVID cases have exceeded 1.5 lakh across the country. The last 24 hours saw 21,411 new cases across the country. Health Ministry data showed maximum cases in Maharashtra along with Kerala, West Bengal, Tamil Nadu and Karnataka. The number of patients under treatment is 0.34% of the total cases of infection. The national rate of recovery has been recorded at 98.46%. Daily and weekly rate of infection are 4.46%. Over 201.68 crore doses have been given so far under the nationwide anti-COVID-19 vaccination. And our World Health Organization has declared monkeypox as a global health emergency. So far, there have been over 14,000 cases of monkeypox worldwide. WHO, which was not declaring monkeypox as a pandemic earlier, has also declared it as a health emergency in view of the rapidly increasing infection. India has 3 cases of monkeypox, all 3 in Kerala. And now let's get you some stories that we are tracking for you from across the nation. Union Home Minister Amit Shah launched several projects, including the CCTV command and control room of the police headquarters in Gandhinagar. He also started e-FIR service that will enable the people to launch FIRs online. In a program organized in Ranchi, Chief Justice N.V. Raman said a stronger judiciary means stronger democracy. He also expressed concern over the safety of the judges. 7 of the Assam labourers who went missing on July 13 from the Kurung Kume district of Arunachal Pradesh have been traced and rescued. Indian Air Force helicopters are also engaged in search and rescue operation. The Asian Development Bank has approved a loan of about Rs 770 crore to finance safe drinking water and sanitation project in Himachal Pradesh. And now let's give you all the news about the monsoon in the nation. Continuous heavy rains causes waterlogging on the roads in Jammu and Kashmir. Many roads are closed for vehicles due to landslides in Jammu and Kashmir division. The Amarnath Yatra has been put on hold due to the closure of the Jammu-Srinagar highway following heavy rains in the state. The situation arising out of the floods in Assam has improved, while more than 10,000 people are still affected in 3 districts. Kachar district is the most affected, where over 6,000 people are still in the grip of floods. Morigaon and Tamulpur districts are still affected by the floods. So far, 197 people have lost their lives due to floods and landslides in the state. At present, 44 villages are submerged in water. And in Rajasthan now, many areas including the capital Jaipur remains affected by the rain. In the last 24 hours, the highest rainfall in the state was recorded in Kota. Due to the incessant rains in Rajasthan for the past few days, the water level in Chambal River in Dholpur is above the danger mark. In Madhya Pradesh, many districts are dealing with waterlogging issues due to the rains. Meteorological department has issued a warning of heavy rain along with the possibility of lightning accompanied by thunder in many districts in the next 24 hours. Due to water level increase in Badbhada Dam, a gate was opened today to maintain the water level and an alert has been issued for low-lying areas. 5 people have died in rain-related incidents in Telangana. Met Department issues heavy rain warnings in many districts of the state. Interministerial Central Team led by Union Home Ministry Joint Secretary Saurav Rai visited flood-affected areas of Telangana in the last 2 days. Slipping into a short break here on the other side. China's Tianwen 1 orbiter sends images of Phobos, one of the 2 natural satellites of Mars. All this and much more after this short break. You stay tuned to Sansad TV. Welcome back after the break. You're watching the news and time now for all the big developments from the Russia-Ukraine war front. The US is sending an additional $270 million in security assistance to Ukraine. The new package includes 4 high-mobility artillery rocket systems, or HIMARS, and 580 Phoenix Ghost drones. The latest tranche brings the total US security assistance committed to Ukraine to $8.2 billion since the war began in late February. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky has said that the grain deal is another sign that Ukraine can withstand this war. Russian and Ukrainian officials signed deals with the UN and Turkey on Friday to allow export of grains through the Black Sea ports. He said an estimated 20 million tons of grain worth $10 billion are to be exported. The African Union has hailed the landmark grain deal between Ukraine and Russia that will allow Kyiv to export grain through the Black Sea. Ukraine's farms are a major source of grain for the world market, in particular in the Middle East and Africa. Russian missiles hit infrastructure in Ukraine's port of Odessa a day after Russia and Ukraine signed the grain deal to reopen Black Sea ports. Ukrainian military 2 Russian missiles were shot down by air defense forces while 2 hit the port. 13 Russian missiles targeted Ukraine's central Kirovohradiska region on Saturday, striking an airfield and a railway facility. At least 1 serviceman and 2 guards were killed. And time now for some other global updates. Sri Lanka's new government on Saturday started work to normalize the situation in the crisis-hit nation. Already under fire for the police crackdown on protesters, the cabinet is trying to find ways to regularize functioning of the government institutions within a week. Take a look.
Sri Lanka's cabinet met for the first time under newly elected President Ranil Wickremesinghe. It discussed ways to normalize situation in the economic crisis-hit country within a week. The ministers resolved to regularize functions of the government institutions like Prime Minister's office, the Presidential Secretariat and schools. Meanwhile, human rights groups have reacted strongly to the Friday crackdown by Sri Lankan security forces on a protest camp occupying the government grounds in Colombo. The move stoked fears that new president had launched a stern response against the protesters and invited tough reaction from United Nations.
The use of force against peaceful protesters runs contrary to international law, and we urge authorities to immediately halt the use of such force.
The opposition also requested Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena to summon the parliament on July 25th to discuss attacks on peaceful protesters. Police, however, called the raid a special operation to take back control of the Presidential Secretariat as protesters continued to occupy some rooms. The police also reported that over 1,000 valuable artifacts are missing from the Sri Lanka's presidential palace and Prime Minister's official residence in Colombo. Anti-government protesters had occupied these premises on 9th of July. Bureau Report, Sansad TV.
And from Sri Lanka to Thailand now, Thailand Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha sailed through his 4th and final no-confidence vote in Parliament ahead of a general election next year. Here are the details.
Thai Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha and 10 cabinet ministers survived no-confidence votes in Parliament on Saturday. The confidence vote is being seen as the Thai Prime Minister's last major test ahead of a general election due within 11 months. The 68-year-old former army chief has been in power since a coup he led in 2014. He received 256 votes in favour and 206 against, with 9 abstentions, securing his position as Prime Minister until his term ends in March. 3 deputy prime ministers and 7 other cabinet ministers also survived the censure motion. The opposition needed more than 239 of the 477 parliamentary votes to oust the prime minister. The prime minister and 10 cabinet ministers underwent 4 days of grilling live on television from an opposition that accused them of corruption and economic mismanagement. It was the 4th time that Prayut's performance was put to a vote since he was chosen prime minister in 2019. He has given no indication of when an election will be called. Bureau Report, Sansad TV.
Pope Francis will spend the next week on a pilgrimage of penance in Canada. He will apologize to indigenous communities for the actions of the Catholic Church. Over more than a century, at least 150,000 children were taken from their families and forced to attend the schools, many of which were run by the Church. Take a look at this report.
Pope Francis' trip to Canada on Sunday to apologize for the horrors of church-run indigenous residential schools will mark a radical rethink of the Catholic Church's missionary legacy. Francis has said that his week-long visit is a penitential pilgrimage to beg forgiveness on Canadian soil for the evil done to native peoples by Catholic missionaries. It follows his April 1st apology in the Vatican for the generations of trauma that indigenous peoples suffered as a result of a church-enforced policy to assimilate them into Canadian Christian society. Francis' tone of personal repentance has signaled a notable shift for the papacy. He's asserted that no single culture can claim a hold on Christianity and that the Church cannot demand that people on other continents imitate the European way of expressing their faith. Francis will deliver his first sweeping apology on Monday near the site of a former residential school. The Canadian government has admitted that physical and sexual abuse were rampant in the state-funded Christian schools that operated from the 19th century to the 1970s. Some 150,000 indigenous children were taken from their families in an effort to isolate them from the influence of their homes, native languages and cultures. The legacy of that abuse and isolation has been cited by indigenous leaders as a root cause of the epidemic rates of alcohol and drug addiction on Canadian reservations. Bureau Report, Sansad TV.
China's Tianwen-1 orbiter has sent back a high-resolution image of Phobos, the innermost and larger of the two natural satellites of Mars. The image was acquired by a high-resolution camera on Tianwen-1 orbiter about 5,000 kilometers away from the Phobos while it was taking the photo. The image shows that Phobos is a small, irregularly shaped object in the shape of a potato. There are some streaks on the surface of Phobos which was possibly caused by an impact long ago. An impact crater about 2 kilometers in diameter called the OPEC is visible at the upper right of the image. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz announced a multi-billion-dollar rescue plan for its biggest gas importer, Uniper. Uniper filed for support after Russia curtailed its gas supply. Under the bailout deal, the German government will take a 30% stake in Uniper and offer the firm up to 7.7 billion euros in financing. It will also allow higher gas prices to be passed on to consumers in future. Protesters gathered in central Tunis to demonstrate against a referendum to be held on July 25 on a new constitution draft. The draft constitution was published by President Kais Saied, giving himself far more powers and reducing the role of the parliament and judiciary. The new constitution also removes most checks on his power. The protesters fear that the referendum is a march to one-man rule that will legalize the coup of the president after he moved against the elected parliament a year ago. Dover Part in Britain faced disruptions that halted the traffic on British side. Dover authorities blamed the lack of French border officials for the long waits of up to 6 hours for border checks in the English Channel port. Millions of people in Britain are beginning vacations this weekend, which is the start of the summer school holidays. Evacuations are underway after California's got hit with another wildfire. The fire engulfed 1,600 acres of forest within a few hours in Mariposa County. The sudden blaze prompted road closures and has now reached the Sierra National Forest. It is the third wildfire in Mariposa County in just 2 weeks. The Great Salt Lake is the second lake in United States after Lake Mead to experience a sharp drop in water levels. It is the largest saltwater lake in the Western Hemisphere and the 8th largest terminal lake in the world. The lake has shrunk from 7,770 square kilometers in 1980s to about 2,460 square kilometers. Experts blame climate change for the drying of lakes in Western United States. And time now for all the sporting action. Shikhar Dhawan made a well-crafted 97 while Shubham Gill made a classy 64 before India held their nerves to pull off a 3-run win over the West Indies in the series opener at Port of Spain. Anu Rani finished 7th in the women's javelin throw final at the World Athletics Championship with the best throw of 61.12 meters. Sydney's McLaughlin of the US charted her own world record by close to a whopping 3/4 of a second to win the women's 400 hurdles at the World Athletics Championships in 50.68 seconds. Two-time Olympic champion Shani Miller-Uibo of the Bahamas bagged gold in the women's 400 meters at the World Athletics Championship at Eugene. Linda Sembrot's stoppage time winner broke Belgian hearts as Sweden won 1-0 in the league on Friday to set up a Euro 2022 semi-final with host England. And that's a wrap of today's bulletin. Thank you for watching. For more updates, keep watching Sansad TV. Good night. Namaskar.